N8n and clay together can be really, really powerful, but it can also get extremely complicated to use N8n as the logic and use clay for data enrichment if you don't know how to call clay from within an N8n workflow and then return to that same workflow once clay has given you the data that you need. So in this video, I'm going to show you a very simple example that I hope will demonstrate the concept. The concept's not that simple, but once you get it, it'll really help you make things a lot simpler and help these amazing tools play together really, really nicely. So first, I'm going to show you a demo of the workflow so you can understand what's happening. This workflow, once I click um, test workflow, is going to do an API call to Clay, to a Clay webhook. It's passing a name to Clay. Clay's going to use that name to generate a freestyle wrap. And then Clay is going to pass that data back to N8n. And then N8n is going to send that poem to this Slack channel here. So you'll see that in action, and then I'll explain a little bit about how it works. Okay, so HTTP call to Clay has happened. We have the payload received the name and something else, which I'll explain later. The poem is being written. And once the poem is written, it'll send the data back to N8n. And then N8n will send that message to Slack. And okay, Kareem, a man on the screen like a dream, flows so clean, shining bright with a gleam, stacking up feats like a beat supreme. Okay. Okay, so the flow, the workflow worked. I don't know if the wrap flow worked, but so let's talk about how this works. So in any case, we would need, if we want to use another system from N8n or from any other platform, we have to use, or we can use, an API call. So I'm doing API call here, but what's really special about this workflow is this wait node. And what this wait node does is it gives us a URL. So it generates a URL that we pass to Clay. So it generates a URL at runtime that's called this execution resume URL. And it's waiting after the API call to Clay, it's waiting and says, I'm not going to stop waiting until someone does an API call to this execution.resume URL. Like I'm just going to sit here until someone calls it. Okay. So at runtime, when the workflow runs, this execution.resume URL is generated as a variable that we can use in any node. In this case, we use the URL here. So we're passing the Kareem's name, and then we're passing what I'm calling the callback URL, what they're calling execution.resume URL. We're passing that URL to Clay. So if we pop this open, okay, it's not telling us the URL name, or the actual URL. We can see the actual URL that was passed to Clay is https binge meeting.app.n8n, et cetera, and some numbers at the end. So this URL, once it's called, will tell this wait node, hey, like you've been waiting for a long time. I finally called you, like you can start again and you can move on to the next step, which is in this case, the Slack step. So we do all the processing. We might be getting phone numbers, emails. We might be doing some AI stuff, even though we can do that just fine within N8n as well. But I'm just using this freestyle as a contrived example. Once the processing is done, we do an API call back to N8n using this URL that we got. And in this case, we're sending the poem data or the freestyle rap data back to N8n. And this wait node receives the payload from this API call, and it knows it can continue. So that's it. The pattern is a little bit non-standard. I've not seen it quite like this before, but it works really well to keep your Clay um, and N8n workflow simple, allows you to have the platforms work together really well. All right, thanks for watching, and definitely happy to answer any questions. If you find yourself confused, um, don't be hard on yourself. This is a really hard concept, and it has a lot of other concepts involved in it that if you don't have the foundations there, it's not easy to understand. All right, thanks for watching.